love the sound of flying. It's truly satisfying. And barring the occasional crying baby, it's generally peaceful. I had the usual pitfalls of making my own travel arrangements. But here I am.
Okay, so this place is pretty impressive. I walked in here, I couldn't believe that, this is my room? that doesn't happen.
Minneapolis is filled with great restaurants, and my friend Chad took me to Chino Latino, where I began drinking heavily.
I think it's some sort of virgin pina colada.
Virgin pina colada, yes.
And eating heavily. After that, it was off to a benefit for former Replacements guitarist Slim Dunlap at the Parkway Theater.
We were here the night before the Replacements returned to the Twin Cities for their first show since 1991 in the area. We're here at the Slim Dunlap benefit show the night before at the Parkway Theater. Sold out show, showing a documentary, some rock and roll bands of some of Slim's friends and others. We're here enjoying it. Mr. Brent's here with us. He's on the other side of his camera. He seems to be enjoying it as well. He's still wearing pants.
As I always follow tradition, the next day found me at the Walker Art Center. But this time, something else was happening on the Irene Hickson Whitney Bridge.
The forefront of people's minds the situation in Gaza. There are so many people barely living in destroyed buildings, and we need to raise awareness so that we don't support a regime that is being brutal to people under its control.
I suppose it goes without saying that a demonstration like this is bound to be a distraction, as it was for this motorist. And it also brings out one or two opportunists. Ah, America. The Wiseman Art Museum on the campus of the University of Minnesota. It was good to see some of my favorite works of art were still in the permanent collection. The regional Emmys. It's the reason I'm here, and why the first leg of my tour was paid for by my boss. And no, I didn't go home with an award again this year. Such is life. It's my last day here before I fly to the West Coast. So a short visit to the Minneapolis Institute of Art to do a quick drawing for their Marks of Genius exhibition. I decided on one of my cartoon robots. Genius or not? Maybe more crazy.
Those passengers on Sun Country's Flight 397 with nonstop service to San Francisco this evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you of our carry-on policy today, as we have a relatively full flight.
Very beautiful.
The morning after I arrived, my friends Todd Lancaster and Karlton Bagby took me on what would be my first real nature hike.
I can't believe what this looks like. It looks like some sort of picture postcard. I've never seen anything like this for real. I mean, I know I've seen movies, pictures, or whatever the case may be, but never for real. And it's amazing.
The thing about places like this is, in the brochure, they never look real. And in person, they still look unreal.
Well, I can scratch something like this off my bucket list because I've been waiting forever to see something like this. I know it's for a lot of people it's really a simple thing, but I've never actually seen something like this for real. For me, it's really a treat, and thanks to Todd and Karlton, I was actually able to see this. So I give them a whole lot of credit for letting me be a part of this.
Of course, after seeing such a beautiful and relaxing sight, we still had a few mile hike back. But that's okay too. The next day included my first ride on the BART. And my first ride on a trolley. I've been obsessed by beaches for the past few years, and now I've seen 2 in the last 24 hours. I couldn't get the images of an old video game called Myst 3 Exile out of my mind when we visited this pier. Elements of this must have been some kind of inspiration for that kind of seafaring imagery. The Long Now Foundation. Being a fan of founding board member Brian Eno, I read about this years ago, and here was my chance to visit what is considered its home base.
The Long Now Foundation, its mission is to foster long-term thinking and responsibility. It's extending your concept of what the present moment is, of what now is, so hence the name. Actually, Brian Eno coined it to where long now, you're extending that concept of what now is. You know, most people think now as being like this very second, but who's to say now can't be 10,000 years, or because in the scheme of it, 10,000 years is the present moment. Back in 1996, Danny Hillis, a computer scientist who did a lot of work with parallel computing, making computers extremely quick, realized he could see the way things were becoming, having such a quick turnaround and becoming society becoming so fast-paced, and how we were losing that forethought. And so that inspired him to start our first project, which is a clock that we're building that will keep time on an astronomical scale for 10,000 years. The reason they settled on 10,000 years is because that is as long as civilization has been around with the mark of agriculture.
In 1915, the Palace of Fine Arts was opened at the Panama Pacific International Exposition and housed art from the Renaissance to modern. A young harpist provided an excellent soundtrack to this pastoral setting. Star Wars, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park. Name a movie with special effects, and they probably came from these buildings. Industrial light and magic. Now there was no tours inside, so you had to imagine what eye candy was being produced inside these walls. The Castro. Being a gay man, I never felt like I was in the majority, but I am here. Too bad I didn't have a boyfriend to hold hands with. Perhaps I should look into that. My last day was spent relaxing in Napa Valley. Great places to eat, great things to see. Castello di Amorosa, a medieval castle in the middle of California, complete with dungeon. No home should be without one. Calistoga is a small town perfect for tourists. I was specially intrigued by Dr. Wilkinson's hot spring spa. It looked exactly like the motels I stayed at as a kid. The Culinary Institute of America, Hogwarts for foodies. It'd take quite a spell to make a decent chef out of me. I pretty much Avada Kedavra everything I cook. I'm a lucky man. I have great friends to gently push me to do things that I should have done years ago. I can only hope that these journeys keep coming and that I can always find a friendly couch to sleep on.